this is Ron Jones from the Lean Berets. I'm always happy to share a story about the SandBell. So this is a SandBell, it's 2 pounds. It only costs about $13 from Hyperwear, a company out of Texas. And it's really become my favorite tool for teaching adults and kids how to have fun with movement. It's non-threatening. If you drop it, it doesn't break or it doesn't hurt if it hits your body. It's real soft, kind of made from a neoprene type material like you maybe find in a wetsuit or something like that. So the drill I'm going to talk to you about today is a Tai Chi drill. It's called a teacup. And I'm not a Tai Chi master, I'm not a Tai Chi instructor, and most of the people watching this video won't have any experience with Tai Chi as well. So you don't have to be a Tai Chi person to really benefit from this, but we're going to do the drill. And if you think about having a saucer with a cup of tea and then moving this saucer in circular spiral motions without spilling the tea. So I've done this drill with a lot of different tools, different sizes of frisbees and yoga blocks, and I come back to the SandBell 2 pound as being the best tool. It stays in your hand a little bit, so there's a little bit of a sweet spot there that's larger, and it's just it's real friendly. So the basic way to do the drill is, and I've been teaching this for a couple years, so this is what I found over time working with lots of different people, is to start outside and then take the SandBell in. And the idea is to keep making a circle and leaving the SandBell relatively flat. Okay, so I'm going to start outside, come in, and basically I'm taking the SandBell and putting it under my armpit. That's the first move. Once I get there, I'm going to shove it behind my arm and just continue the circle in the same direction. So it's a spiral. It goes under the armpit and it comes around and back over, and it just keeps repeating that pattern. So a couple of coaching tips here, because I want you to know how to not only do the drill but also teach other people how to do it safely. Some people don't have the shoulder mobility to do that, and that's fine. We can just go where they can go comfortably here and then spiral back out, and they can just work that limited range of motion. So that's one regression. Another thing I learned, and I was kind of laughing because I looked at a video I put up a few years ago when I first learned this, and I do it so much better now. So it's a lot more stiff when I first started doing this. So I'm going to encourage you to use your whole body, not just the shoulder, but I'm also moving all the way through my feet. So if I'm doing this on my own and I'm really into it, I'm going to come down with the weight and use my whole body and come up with the weight and really move through that pattern like I'm swimming in water. And I'll let this other arm go too. And so I can keep that spiral close to my body, or I can make it a larger circular pattern and push it way out, come way around behind my head. And so you can play with it. I can move the SandBell forward, or I can move it backwards. I can move it to the side. And I'm going to encourage you to play with all of that as long as there's no pain. So it's really a beautiful drill to do. It feels really good. And there are fascial lines in the body, and without getting too scientific here and confusing, there are lots of diagonal lines in the body, and you're basically just working as many of those as possible when you change directions and flow through this drill. So I also encourage you to move your head a lot, because it's a good vestibular training tool as well. Your vestibular system is your inner ear on each side, and that's basically your body's GPS. And so it's telling me where I'm at. If I cover my eyes and I tilt my head, I'm not falling over. And so one of the factors that helps me not fall, a major factor, are my inner ears. And so those can be trained up as well with a little bit of a load, and it can be improved. So watch my head now in this drill as I really move it. So I'm tilting in different axes or lines, right? Because you have different lines of fluid running inside your inner ear. So I don't want to just do this or just do that. I'm going to go in X patterns and circles and move my head a lot. So if you get too dizzy doing that or you feel nauseous, just be careful because it's very sensitive. And so you can move it a little bit at a time instead of trying to overdo it all one day. So to review the basics, you really want to use your whole body and not be stiff, but open up your pelvic floor and let your hips move. And this is it's really challenging to teach adults how to let go, because they get very stiff and they're a little bit embarrassed about doing something kind of funky like this. But again, I mean, by the time I'm done teaching this, it seems like everyone's laughing and smiling and having fun with it. Okay, so it's a nice drill to loosen up a little bit. So before I even go, I'm kind of just doing this thing, and then I'm using my whole body. I like to come down when the weight comes down. I like to go up when the weight comes up. And I'm going to change where I move the SandBell. I might work with it more in here in front, or maybe out here, or maybe behind my body a little bit. And here's how I like to change hands. You can also do it with two, but this is a very simple lesson just how to do it one drill, or one SandBell a day. So let's say I'm getting tired, it's time to switch, and what I'm going to do, instead of coming through, I'm going to backspin and catch it in the other hand. The SandBell is turning in the direction that I'll take my hand in as well, and that takes me right under the other armpit, and then I start again. And I like to flow both hands. Even though this hand's not loaded, you'll see me letting it go and kind of moving my non-loaded arm and hand as well. And I like to really think about spinal extension up here in my mid-back, because my background is cycling and running and a lot of computer work and driving, like many people do computer work today, quite a few hours a day. So I'm always, working to get out of this kind of a posture. So when I move the SandBell, I want to think about really extending my spine and getting a little bit of a back arch as well. Okay, so the hand switch thing again, I'm going to do my last rep, and now I need to switch, and I'm going to backspin and catch it and just take it right under the other armpit. And this can be pretty playful, because I like to really toss it up there and come down, and so when the SandBell hits my hand, I drop with it and I just flip right into that next spiral. Okay, so I've stayed in one spot predominantly for this, because this is more of an introductory lesson. But you can also start stepping. Now that's a lot more for your inner ear, so it can be too much for some people. So I would start with a real simple, just do what you can here, and then get the hips opened up more head tilt, more vestibular load, or training for the inner ears. I like to watch the SandBell too as it goes around, and then you can also start turning. So I might want to start doing things like this. You can also come back the other way. I can follow the SandBell. So start outside to in. I found that to be easier, at least for the teaching part of it, if you're working with people that haven't done it before. Once you know how to do that, you can also go this way. So I can take it from out to in under the armpit, or I can take it from close to my body and go back out and then around behind my body and through. So both ways is fine. That's how I like to teach it, and I like to do it. I'm working on or playing with, some stepping and moving with the SandBell, and also incorporating two SandBells as well.